Welcome to the Autosportradio.com 2021 show. We are still live from the Grand King Race Shops, also home of Top Gun Racing. The car is garaged here. So if you're in the area, you want to take a look and see how a car, what goes on to a car that's in the garage being worked on, stop in.
Keep going, you're fine.
This program is being brought to you today by Honda HBD, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the NTT IndyCar Series, SVRA, McGilvery's Pub and Eatery and Speedway, and VP Insurance. A couple of little interesting things. My computer guy, Steve, has an office. He's located at 549 Fleming Street on West Washington. It's just about a mile east of Lyndhurst. If you got a problem with the computer, call him. If he can't get to the shop, he can make a house call. His number is 317-938-7711. That's Steve Free of the Computer Doctor. He can take care of it for you. Give him a call. And as I've said many times, as much as you dislike going to a dentist, I got one that you will like to go to, actually. The Indy Dental Group. Indy 500 veteran Dr. Jack Miller and his wife, Dr. Liz Lewis, have a spectacular practice. The people they have are sensational. You will love them. I can almost guarantee it. So give them a call, make an appointment, see if I'm right. Number is 317-846-6125. You need your roof repaired? You want to find out if you do? Why not give Ted a call at Reed Roofing? He can arrange for you to get an inspection and if need be an estimate, free estimate at that. Give them a call, set it up. Number is 317-500-3370. That's Ted from Reed Roofing. Want to keep in mind that Bob Jenkins and Robin Miller are suffering serious health concerns, so keep them in mind and say a good word for them every night before you go to bed. Have you ever wondered why it makes these kids, guys and gals, want to drive open wheel Indy cars? Well, why don't you find out? Take a ride in the Indy Racing Experience two-seater. You can go online to indyracingexperience.com, find a date that can work for you wherever it happens to be. And they run frequently at the Speedway, and make an appointment. And in the promo box, put DK1, get a 50% discount, or you can call the office and talk to Shonda. The number is 317-243-7171. That's the Indy Racing Experience two-seater. Take a ride. You'll love it. It comes time to renew your insurance for your home, your car, your commercial property, or even life insurance if you don't have any. Call Mike Pardee at VP Insurance, see what he can do for you. The insurance that most of us have gotten from him are better coverage for less money. So give him a call. His number is 317-248-0070. Tell him what you're looking for, and I can tell you he'll help you. SVRA next upcoming event is the 22nd to the 25th at Portland International Raceway. If you're out that way, live in the Washington area, and you can get to the track within an hour and a half, 2 hours, I highly recommend go. It's a great show. You'll have a lot of fun. And if you're going to Nashville, the Trans Am is running there in the big machine, Music City GP. You'll see them there. Also, while you're at it, you need to go to svra.com and subscribe to Speed Tour magazine. It's a spectacular publication. A lot of stories and pictures and stories about drivers that you knew as a kid. A lot of them are still running in vintage cars. So go to svra.com, subscribe to Speed Tour magazine, and check the schedule. See where there's an event near you and go. You ever wanted to have a vintage car or got one and you need it restored? The Grand King Shops can help you. Give them a call. Tell them what you got or what you're looking for, and they'll help you. Number is 317-820-3595. If you want to come on tour, this is a working museum. Call that number and set up a time to come and take a look. You'll enjoy it. My guest today is a young man from the Indianapolis area. He's from Noblesville. He has driven about everything everywhere. He ran over in Europe for a couple of years in the F3 and F4 series. He's run the Road to Indy program and did extremely well. He has been a participant a couple of years now in the midget race on the dirt track at the Speedway, which he will be back in again this year. And you're going to race against Jeff Gordon. And also he has led the most laps in the 105th running of the Indianapolis 500. That had to be a thrill. My guest, of course, is Conor Daly. And Conor, racing has obviously been in your blood. It's been in your house. It's been everything. But you have covered almost everything. I mean, you've been in Europe, as I said. You ran the Road to Indy program. You've been in NASCAR. You drive midgets, you drive go-karts, you drive anything with four wheels and a motor.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the goal of when we started out, right? To be a racing driver. There's specific things that you want to do as a racing driver, but realistically, I think it's more fun to drive as much as possible. And I've been lucky to drive a lot of stuff. Still want to do a lot more. I would love to do the Le Mans 24-hour race. Would love to do the Daytona 500. Would love to do plenty of things, but it's not easy to get all that done. So we'll see what happens, but still have a lot I want to do in IndyCar. And on the side, if you're able to stay busy and continue racing other things, then keeps your body and your mind in the game.
Well, with the support you're getting from the United States Air Force, that certainly has helped your IndyCar program. You're back with Ed Carpenter for a full season. Well, almost a full, because there's only a couple of ovals. And up to now, you've driven the ovals for Carlin Racing. Any hint that you'll be at the Worldwide Technology Raceway?
I mean, I'd certainly like to think so. We've been strong there with Carlin. There's a lot of business that goes into this, and it's not my call. But I will obviously be ready to drive for them if all lines up. And I think it looks good, but again, it's not up to me. So I'd love to, and they're a great team, great group of people. Obviously, on the short ovals, we've been really, really strong together. So it'd be fun.
Now you're back for a second year with Ed Carpenter Racing, and they have a group of guys that can put a car together. And obviously that showed this past May, because you led the most laps in the race. What was it like to realize I'm leading the 500?
Well, I mean, that's realistically at the time, you don't really think much about it, because that's the goal in every race, right? To get to the lead and control the race. And once you're in the lead, it's just much easier to just do everything. I mean, you're in control. Everyone behind you is, being dictated by what you do and controlling the pace. So that's, it's a much easier spot to be in. It was actually a much easier race, for a long time than I've ever been involved in, because when you're at the front, everyone's kind of playing a pretty smart game of, just riding. I mean, we know that the Indy 500 is a long race, and, if you're in the top 3 or 4, from what I can see now, it's pretty easy. You're just driving around and hoping to just stay there through the pit stops and have, no mistakes, no mistakes affect where you're at, and be defensive, but also, be smart. So it was a great experience up there. We definitely had a shot at winning, I think, which was awesome. It was unfortunate the way, that chance was taken away from us, but it is what it is. And there's been crazier things that have happened in an Indy 500 before. So, we just got to take the experience and take the good parts, with us, hopefully, to the future.
Well, fortunately, when Graham Rahall's wheel came off and hit your car, it didn't hit anywhere that caused terribly serious damage. But what a lot of people don't realize, it doesn't take much to knock a wing out to put your handling completely awry. That the handling of the car disappeared real quick.
Yeah, I mean, we lost 2% of our front grip, which is pretty substantial when you're considering how effective that front wing is for us. So it was very much a situation where you're screwed if you do pit and change it, and you're screwed if you don't do that, because if we do pit, we're already talking, we're past halfway in the race. There's only two pit stops remaining. If anything, maybe 3 pit stops, and you pit, you lose all your track position, you go back to the back, and not a lot of people were passing. All the passes that were being made and the positions that were being made up were in the pits, were through strategy, strategy calls. So it was tough to make that call, but we made the decision, and every pit stop we tried to take out rear wing to adjust on on the downforce that we lost from the front. And just couldn't quite compensate with it. So it was tough, but I think the team made the right call for sure, because it's just hard to know what's best to do in those situations, and we just couldn't give up as much track position as we would have lost, for changing the front wing. So it's annoying looking back on it as well. I was like, well, maybe we should have changed it. I would love to see how it would have gone, because our car was so fast. I would have loved to have seen how it would have gone if we did change it, but we're stuck with it now, and it is what it is.
Yeah, but I think what you showed is, even with losing handling to a degree, you still were competitive. I mean, you didn't drop and sail to the back like a rock. You hung up in there, and you hung in there and drove the car as best you could the way it handled it. And, you accounted well for yourself. And I think in everything you drive, you seem to be able to understand what it is, even if you haven't driven anything for a time, or you're in your first time. You understand the car, you feel the cars, and you can drive the cars. I think the place I'd like to see you run is with the SRX series. I think that would be fun to watch. You and Paul Tracy.
Yeah, I mean, I've been definitely craving one of those cars. That'd be a lot of fun. The series looked fantastic, and the cars look like a lot of fun to drive. So I don't know what it takes to be involved in that series. A lot of wins and championships. It looked like, or you just got to be a superstar, like Haley Deegan. So yeah, it would be a lot of fun to get in that, and I'm sure who knows? Maybe they'll even have more cars next year because it was so popular.
And run some more races. I think the first year they said, wow. And hopefully they'll expand it a little bit. And of course, how can you go wrong getting prime time on a Saturday night on a national network? Holy Toledo. That's perfect.
Yeah, it was an incredible series to watch. And I love Tony Stewart. That guy's awesome. And, those guys, all the guys that he had involved in that series, I mean, just a great group of people. Marco, Paul, Tony, Michael Waltrip. I mean, some real Willie T, great friend of my dad's. I mean, it was a great group.
It looked like they all had. I called Willie and said, "You and Bill Elliott are having battles." He said, "I'm loving this. I'm loving it." I said, "Willie, you should be up the front." So I'm 60. I'm happy where I am, and Bill and I are having a good time. I said, "I'm loving it."
There you go. And
of course, the best, I think the neatest thing that they did the whole 6 races, when they brought Paul Tracy in here at the Lucas Oil Raceway in a police car in handcuffs. that was funny. When I saw that, I said, "You got to be kidding!" And it went over well. You went with it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to create a show these days, and you got to, is it a little Mickey Mouse and a little bit, like a TV show? Yeah, but guess what? That's what people want to see. It's what you got to have to bring the eyes of the people in as some entertainment. So I liked it.
Well, something I think is huge for you is you are fan friendly. Fans recognize you're one of the more popular drivers in the series, and short of putting your head on to climb in a car, if a fan wants an autograph or a picture or just say hello, you will stop and talk to them. And I think that's huge. And the fans love it.
Well, it's very important. I mean, you gotta interact with the people that that pay to go to our events, that support us by turning on the TVs. It's a two-way street. We gotta respect them, and they've we've got to expect them to come out and support us, and it's super important. And I love interacting with the folks that come out to our races, because we're all race fans in the end. I'm a race fan, they're race fans. And if they're a new race fan, well, we got to convince them to stay. So that's really important. Our ratings are going the right way this year. We've seen a lot of support, I think, which is great. But we got a long way to go. Instead of being happy with over 1 million people watching per weekend, we need to be 2 million people watching per weekend. You know what I mean? So we need to really get those numbers up and continue to just make people aware of this sport. And I think we're I know I'm certainly working hard at it and trying to, get a lot of stuff going around IndyCar and around what we've, what our product is, and the amount of drivers that we've got and the talent level that we've got. So it's one day at a time, and we'll keep working to give our fans, a good product to watch.
Well, I think the interesting part about it is the series is growing, and not only from viewership and fanship, but the entrance. There's new teams upcoming. There's new drivers are going to come out of the Road to Indy program next year. One of them, I understand, has the funding on his own. He bring with him. So that'll put another car on the track. There's a lot of good things going for IndyCar that some of the other series in the world don't have. IndyCar is a growing concern, and they got, in my opinion, which is only my opinion, but a lot of people agree with me, the most competitive series of any in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you on that one for sure. I mean, we've got some of the best from every different motorsport: NASCAR, Formula One, IndyCar, V8 supercars. I mean, you got guys from all over the world coming to compete with us. So it's very special. It's a great series to be involved in. And I mean, yeah, I mean, we could potentially have 28 cars at the next two races. You know what I mean? 27 in Nashville, 28 maybe at other races. So that's a lot of cars. I mean, that's a big series. That means there's a lot of money being pumped into the series. That means that there's companies that want to support it. That means that there's, drivers that are getting opportunities. So, it's a great time to be involved with the series. And we just got to know that we got to keep work. Like we got to help. Us as drivers, like we got to continue to build this sport. We got to do our jobs to get it out to the people and be someone that you want to follow. You know what I mean? Be someone that fans want to pay attention to. And that's super important.
Well, something I find interesting, I've known a lot of parents, and when their kids are driving, they start pacing. Sometimes mom goes and hides in a trailer somewhere or gets lost. But your mother loves it. She follows everywhere you go. And when you get in the car and they start the engine, she's ready to go.
Oh yeah, she's the number one fan. So she's there and she loves racing.
And she was an amateur world champion on jet ski. Your brother was a world champion professionally in the jet ski. Is he running this year, by the way?
Yeah, he's still racing. They've been on the schedule. He's been doing well. Getting around every now and then down to Florida. I think the next race is in Michigan City in a couple weeks. So he's still moving and shaking in the jet ski scene.
And he's opened a business up in Carmel or somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. I heard from your dad.
Yeah, it's an incredible place, honestly, just next to Ocean Prime and Keystone. Great protein shake shop, some incredible teas and energy beverages of sorts, but all very, very healthy. So he's done a great job up there. I go there every time after every workout that I do on the north side. So it's awesome. It's called the Daily Dose in Keystone. So obviously it's a pretty good play on words there.
I would say Daily Dose. I was going to say, where'd they come up with that idea?
I know, right? I respect it.
Absolutely. Why not use a name that's catchy in the area, particularly? They know it. Do you get a chance to test? I mean, when Jeff Gordon accepted the ride in the BC 39, he got to run the track because he hadn't been in the midget in 25 years. Have you had seat time prior to this upcoming event?
No. Yeah, no, absolutely not. I don't think
really.
There's no way I could get out in anything without. I just don't have enough time, and I don't have. Every lap you do in a race car costs money, so I don't want to put that on anyone, and there's just no time to do it.
But now you're going to get the race against a 6-time NASCAR champion. That ought to be kind of fun.
Well, I'm already racing against a 7-time NASCAR champion, so
yeah, that's true.
Might as well get Jeff in there. I didn't even know he was racing, to be honest. So that's pretty cool. I thought he was just testing out the track.
No, he's supposed to be going. I have to take my hat off because when Jimmy Johnson said he was coming to this series, he'd never been in one of these cars. And, people said, well, he's a 7-time champion. He should be doing, not really. It's a completely different car. And he's doing well. He's moving up slowly but surely. He doesn't get in anybody's way that I've seen. And he's learning.
Yeah. I mean, it's a challenge, man. I mean, I think it just goes to show how hard it is. I mean, what we're doing is, as you said, the most competitive motorsport, I think, in the world right now. And it's very, very different. And, I think I respect him for taking on the challenge for sure. I hope he continues to make the progress that he's made, but it's, every weekend there's going to be new things for him to take on. And it is tough, man. I mean, I think there's, to go from being the best to to struggling and really fighting for the at the back of the grid, you know what I mean? It's mentally that's got to be a challenge, and so I respect him for taking that on.
I think another thing that's helped the IndyCar Series in particular is the F1 guys that are coming here, because the European viewership now is growing rather rapidly. And I've mentioned this a couple of times before. I was impressed when I saw the test that Romain Grosjean had at Barber. And I think his first or second lap on like on turn 2, he looped the car. And he came in and they said, what happened? He said, I found out you got to drive these cars. In Formula One, there's so much downforce and traction control. All you do is steer it. These cars you drive. And he had a big smile on his face. He's enjoying this. This is a good series where a driver is a driver, not a steerer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just goes to show you. I mean, he's, the poor guy had to deal with, the worst team on the grid for the last couple of years and just fighting around for 18th and 20th and 19th and all that stuff. And, you put him in a competitive car and, he used to be very, very good. Like when he was coming through the ranks in GP2 and the lower series in Europe, I mean, the guy was really, really talented. And, has been on the podium in Formula One, which is massive. And yeah, I mean, it's great to be going up against him. I've enjoyed racing with him. I've enjoyed, competing with him. And I think he is absolutely fully embracing this American experience. I mean, the guy's basically driving around in a motorhome by himself with his family, across America. So, I've been I talked to him a lot, really enjoyed hanging out with the guy. So I respect him. And I think for sure he's exactly right. Like, not only are you having way more fun in IndyCar, but you're also able to compete. And I think if you can do both of those things at the highest level, why wouldn't you want to come and do this sport? You know what I mean?
Well, I think it says a lot for guys like yourself who are competitive with a man of his experience. And to me, you've shown that you just give me something with 4 wheels and a motor and get out of my way. We'll go run. You'll run and you run anything. Is there anything on your schedule, although starting in Nashville, you don't have a lot of time off anymore till the end of the season, but is there anything else on your agenda for this year besides IndyCar?
No, nothing yet. Just want to be, the best we can be in the rest of the season. We've had, an absolutely ridiculous amount of bad luck and misfortune, in our races that we've run so far. And I think we've shown a lot more speed than we have results. So we just need to finally have a weekend where, less things go wrong. And I think, Mid-Ohio, we had a great race, but we had to start in the back and we got stuck and we basically didn't have enough time. But, realistically, that's another race that we're very, very close to being in the top 10 once again. So there's several races where we could have easily been in the top 10, top 5. And especially the Indy GP, which my teammate won, that was where we were going to be fastest. I mean, we'd out-qualified my teammate. We'd been faster than him all weekend, and he wins the race. So, it's a situation where, we got taken out, and that sucks. So I'm pretty much just looking forward to finishing out this season strong, and we've done a lot of simulation laps at Nashville. Going to be an interesting track for sure, but then we've got 2 really, really strong venues for me right afterwards. The Indy GP that comes up yet again, where we had our best qualifying of the season so far, and then Gateway, which if I can put that race together and get back out there with Carlin, I want to win that race too. So there's a lot of good stuff ahead. Portland I qualified really well at, but never raced there yet because we got taken out in 2019. So there's a lot of good events. I love Long Beach. I've won there in Indy Lights. So there's a lot of good things that we could have to potentially finish the season, and we want to be able to do that.
It seems that Ed Carpenter's got a good team put together to give you the cars that you need to be competitive. They've been fast. As you said, you've had some bad luck, but your cars, for the most part, in every event have been fast.
Yeah, I think it depends on where we've been. There's a couple places, where we really have struggled, and there's certain problems that we just have not been able to solve yet. But we're for sure, every place that we've been a step further forward than where we were last year. So last year, I think we struggled a lot more with the car. This year, we're in a much, much better spot. Last year there were several races where I didn't know what to do. We didn't have any lap that was fast or positive, and nothing was really going well for us in certain places. And now we feel much, much stronger in the races. We can actually attack in the races. It's just one race at a time. We try to make progress. And I still think there's a couple underlying things that if we can get them really sorted out, will benefit in the long run every race and be more consistently up front. But it's challenging. It's challenging for a lot of people. And I think you see a lot of drivers every weekend struggling. Like there's guys that you don't expect to be struggling, fighting for 14th with Simon Pagenaud, IndyCar champion and Indy 500 winner. I mean, it's, some of these guys, it's tough weekend by weekend. And this era right now with this car has made it certainly challenging, more so than before.
You're sponsored by the United States Air Force. Do you make a lot of appearances for the Air Force? I know in the first year you had them, you did, because everything was wide open at that time. You could go to schools and so forth. Do you still make a lot of appearances for the Air Force?
There haven't been as much this year because of the whole COVID situation. And we've done a lot with them, though. There's been a lot of great stuff at the events because they can have their setups, their displays now again. So Road America, there was a great display. Detroit, there was a great display. We're going to have more, some cool stuff going on in Nashville. We've got a great little event before the Indy GP as well with them. So there's a lot to be done still. And hopefully we can continue to strengthen that program so we can bring them back again next year.
You get a lot of the top Air Force generals come in from time to time.
Yeah, I mean, at the Indy 500, we had some incredible people there, and obviously the Red Tails did the flyover, which our car was honoring the Red Tails, which was really, really cool. So yeah, I mean, we've got from the recruiting side, a lot of great people have been we met them every single weekend in different areas, different squadrons. So it's been cool to see that.
Well, upcoming is Nashville. Now nobody's run there, so everybody's in the same boat. You get to go over a bridge not once but twice. Obviously, you got to get back, and they put in some new roads to get into the pit area at the stadium. It looks like it's going to be a spectacular event, and the ticket sales have been phenomenal. I had Chief Operating Officer Jason Rittenberry on last week, and he said ticket sales are phenomenal. So there'd be a big crowd for you to race for.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely exciting. I mean, I'm going down, on the Tuesday before the event. There's a lot of stuff going on there. We've got several sponsor events, for Mankind Corporation, our diabetes partner, and then also the Air Force. So there's a lot of stuff going on. All of my friends from Indianapolis are going down. And we spent 2 days last week on the simulator for Nashville and Pratt Miller and Chevrolet. What they've got so far on the simulation side is really, really interesting. I hope it's a good racetrack. I hope we have good overtaking opportunities. It's tighter than any other circuit I've been on in certain areas. So, we just hope that doesn't cause any issues. But yeah, I mean, it looks exciting. The bridge view is incredible. Certainly on the simulator, it looks pretty spectacular. But yeah, we'll just have to see. I mean, it's with these new events on the streets, it's challenging. We saw how difficult Baltimore was and the issues that we ran into there. But I think there's an incredible group of people that are putting this event together, and it can't fail. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that I think there's enough smart people, around it that they wouldn't let it, go badly. So I'm excited to get down there without a doubt.
Well, Nashville is 3 days, 5 races, and 5 concerts. So it's going to be a lot of things going on. Good luck to you. Thanks for your time. I know you got things to do, a place to go, people to see, but I appreciate your time and wish you nothing but the best. And of course, your fans will be cheering loud and clear, and I'll be one of them. Good luck to you.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
And thanks for your time. My guest has been Conor Daly, driving for the U.S. Air Force and Ed Carpenter Racing. Keep an eye on him. He's going to win one, and he led the 500. The chance of winning that, not that far away. Thanks for watching. We have some guests lined up, and we will be back. So keep us in mind. Until next time, Don Kay saying thanks for being here. Thanks to Conor for taking the time. We'll see you next time.